Yes, now we are recording. Thank you all so much for your patience and for giving us your time tonight. We are appreciative to the beloved community for joining us for another voter empowerment event. I am Joy Ponder Bates, President and Servant Leader for the West Metro branch of the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. And I welcome you on behalf of the Executive Committee and our members. This evening, we are hosting the Douglas County Superior Court Judge Forum, along with Omega Psi Phi Fraternity's Tri-Mu chapter. We will hear greetings now from President Andre Brantley.
Thank you, President Bates. It's an honor to be here. My name is Andre Brantley, and I'm the bossless, also known as president of Mu chapter, and we service the Douglas, Carroll, and Paulding County communities. We're excited this evening to be here and partner with NAACP and taking on our civic responsibility. We know we have some very important elections coming up, and so local as well as statewide and nationally. And so we're excited to be here today, and we look forward to hearing from the candidates, and we look for participation from each and every one of you all. And so we're here, and we're going to continue to partner. And so we thank you for your time and look forward to the rest of the evening.
Thank you so much, President Brantley. Again, we are thankful that you joined us, and we are hopeful that something will be said to help in your decision making process for the Douglas County Superior Court Judge. We know that midterm elections will be held on May 24th, and early voting starts May 2nd. We tried to get a lot of our voter empowerment forums done before early voting so that you could have the information to make a decision. We have some announcements concerning tonight's forum. There have been some changes. I once learned that the only constant in life is change. And so Attorney Ryan Williams has withdrawn from the race effective April 26th. Therefore, he will not join us this evening as a candidate. We also learned on Monday that Judge Cynthia Adams, the incumbent, might be joining us late, if at all. She had a competing event. For transparency's sake, she offered to send someone in her stead, but we thought that it would be more important for you all to hear directly from her. And so what we did is offered to send her and the rest of the candidates the questions in advance, and she could send written or taped responses to the questions. She did that. However, we don't have her representative here to read the answers to her questions. So what we will do is provide them to you via our website so that you can have the benefit of how she would have answered those questions. And before the moderator starts, we will ask again if her surrogate is here. Please note that the NAACP is a nonpartisan organization, and we don't have permanent friends or permanent enemies. We only have permanent interests, and those interests are the advancement of colored people. Again, we invite you to put any questions that you might have for the candidates in the chat, and as time permits, we will ask those questions. Now I'll turn it over to Ann Mathis as she introduces the candidates.
Thank you, President Bates, and good evening, everyone, and the West Metro leadership, and all of tonight's participants. I will start with the bio for Judge Cynthia Adams, although she is not present. Judge Cynthia C. Adams has been a Douglas County Superior Court judge since her appointment in February 2017. She later ran an election in May 2018 and was elected by the citizens of Douglas County. She is the presiding judge over the Douglas County Mental Health Court since 2017. She and her husband will celebrate 21 years of marriage this year and have 2 children. Next, I will share the bio submitted by Corey Martin. Corey Martin is a 25-year resident of Douglas County, attorney, founder of law offices of Martin and Associates, who practices civil and criminal litigation. He is a law school honor graduate, 8-year military veteran, and supervising attorney of Veterans Legal Clinic. He's a Douglas County partner in education, match, mentor, community leader, father, husband, and advocate. Thank you for allowing me to share the bios of the 2 candidates.
Thank you so much. Now we will hear from the moderator.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Debra Chandler. I am the 2nd Vice President for the West Metro branch of the NAACP, as well as the Political Action Chair. It is my honor to facilitate or moderate the questions for our forum tonight. We have attorney Corey Martin with us in person, since, as Madam President stated, candidate Ryan has withdrawn and candidate Adams may join us later on. So at this time, candidate Martin, I'm going to ask you a few questions. The first one will be
Vice President,
yes.
let me just make sure that Judge Adams surrogate has not joined us, because I did allow a few other people in from the waiting room since
Okay.
I asked that question. So
Yes,
are you here with us? All right, Madam Chair, go ahead.
thank you, Madam President. Candidate Martin, what can you as a candidate bring to Douglas County Superior Court to make the court's experience better than they are now?
First, I want to thank you for allowing me to be a part of this forum. My name is Attorney Corey Martin, and I want to make sure that people understand that what I bring is the ability for you to be treated fairly, for you to be able to come into the courtroom, and it is an impartial environment. I want you to understand that I am committed to Douglas County and to the Douglas County citizens. And I want to make sure in doing so that I respect your time, because your time is important and your time is valuable. When you come into my courtroom as Superior Court Judge of Douglas County, I'm going to make sure that we listen to your case, that you have an opportunity to present your case clearly, and that all due process procedures are followed for you. You know, we want to respect our attorneys and their time. We want to not look down on individuals when they come into the courtroom. We want to treat them the way that we would like to be treated. And I believe that's different than what individuals are receiving in the Douglas County Superior Court today.
Thank you for that. And I failed to mention that each candidate will have up to 2 minutes to complete their responses. Madam Media, I don't see you on my screen, so I'm not, just FYI. Well, thank you for your response, candidate Martin. Let me ask you this: what can you do for crime reform in the Douglas County Superior Court system?
Well, number one, I definitely believe in criminal reform, and I believe in restorative justice. I've been in Douglas County, like I said, for 25 years. And when we talk about restorative justice and criminal reform, that means to me that nonviolent offenders and those who have committed nonviolent crimes should be given the opportunity of a second chance. And that second chance looks as like either they're doing probation versus jail time. They are doing community service versus jail time. they are given an opportunity to get back on the track that they were not initially on. Everyone has made mistakes, and we want to make sure we want to make sure that everyone is given an opportunity and a second chance. I also want to make very clear, though, that you can't come into Douglas County and just commit crimes, because that's going to be unacceptable. And I'm going to ensure that as a Douglas County Superior Court judge. So criminal reform is definitely needed, but it has to be from a form of restorative justice, where we're holding people accountable, but yet we're giving them the opportunity to get their lives back on track. There has to always be access to justice for everyone and not just a few. We're going to do what we can to reduce the number of repeat offenders. If that means getting them counseling, helping them to get a GED, helping them to get any services that are needed in order to keep them from coming back into the criminal justice system.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for that response. The next question would be, what can be done about bail reform so that those with lower level offenses are able to make bond?
Well, that's interesting, because from what tends to happen is that in Superior Court, we don't necessarily see the lower levels coming in. The way the process normally works is that those who have lower level crimes, as far as getting bond, they're going to go to magistrate court first, and then magistrate court will deal with them as far as the lower level. Most times, the next step up, if they're denied bond, or if it's a felony, or if it's one of the 7 deadly sins, they're going to have to go to a Superior Court judge, and then a Superior Court judge will make a determination on whether they should receive bond or not. Now, in this process of bail reform, the law already says that there are certain things that you have to look at when determining whether someone should get a bond. It is, has this person has no significant risk of fleeing? Does this person has no significant risk of intimidating witnesses or committing another felony? Is there no significant risk of this person obstructing justice? So there's already, according to the law, certain things that we look at when a bond is determined. If a bond is preset, then a person doesn't have to wait to go before the magistrate court or the Superior Court judge in order to get released from jail. But for those that come before Superior Court judges, there are laws in place to make sure that you are given an opportunity to apply for bond and to be heard for bond. And hopefully it's someone giving you a reasonable bond, because I can offer you a bond as a Superior Court judge. However, if their bond is high enough, it's equivalent to no bond at all. And so we want to make sure that those that come before the Douglas County Superior Court, that they are given their day in court and that it's fair and it's impartial.
Awesome. Excellent. Excellent. Thank you again for that very detailed response. Another question is, what would you do as a judge to reduce the packed line to prison for people of color? What would you do as a judge to reduce the packed line to prison for people of color?
And there's definitely a line, right? And so if anyone was to tell us that the line doesn't exist, that would not be true. And I'm here to be honest with the residents of Douglas County, because I want you to know exactly what goes on in court, because I'm in court all the time. One of the most powerful things that a judge has, in my opinion, is discretion. And that's the discretion to be able to sentence you when and this is outside of when there's a mandatory minimum, which is not a lot. But in general, the discretion to be able to sentence you to just probation, to give you an opportunity to get yourself back together, to sentence you where you have an electronic monitoring device on you versus being in jail, the ability to give you boot camp versus being in jail, to let you do house arrest while you go to work and still provide for your family, to be able to engage in community services versus some of the other things that the residents in Douglas County or anyone that visits the Douglas County Superior Court and jail system get. So there's all these things that the judge has the ability to do. For those, of course, that have committed violent felonies, they have to be sentenced. And we want to make sure that regards to which one it is, if it's a sentence that carries a mandatory minimum or a sentence that carries a year, or a sentence that carries 3 years or 10 years, when you come into the courtroom, regardless to what you receive, you will always believe that you've been treated fairly, you've been heard, and you've had an opportunity to present your case to the jury. But we want to always follow the law, apply the case facts to the law, and then make sure on a case-by-case basis that we are being fair with the sentencing, which we don't tend to see. I've been out handing out flyers in Douglas County. And a couple of weeks ago, I was at the courthouse, and that issue came up where I was handing it to a young lady. She said, well, you already know in Douglas County, the only thing that they're going to do if you're a minority is lock you up and put you away. And I said, but that's why I'm running. I want to make sure, and I want to ensure that I'm committed to the residents of Douglas County, regards to who you are, what you look like, that you get a fair, impartial opportunity to present your case. And if it's bond, then that's what we're going to give you. But we don't want to just take everyone and fit them into a box and say, hey, everyone that has committed a felony, you're going to jail for the rest of your life. I don't believe in that. It's about holding people accountable, but yet giving them an opportunity to get themselves back together.
Excellent. Excellent. Thank you. Thank you again. Another question we have is, what are the plans for the criminal courts and trials to make them better for victims when cases are presented for prosecution? What are the plans? Yeah, what, you want me to read it again?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so what are the plans for the criminal courts and trials to make them better for victims when cases are presented for prosecution?
If for me, and being the next Douglas County Superior Court judge, of course, I want to make sure that all of our victims have an opportunity to be heard. If that means coming in front of the court and telling the court what happened in the case, how it has affected you now, how it has affected your family, how it has affected your ability to move forward, we want that victim to get an opportunity to let everyone know what is going on. And more importantly, we want that victim to understand and ensure that what they're telling us is considered in whatever sentence that we decide to give the person if it's a criminal case. I want to make sure that those victims that come into the court that are non-Spanish speaking victims, that there's someone there to translate as they're telling their stories as well. I want to make sure, more importantly, that victim services are available. I'm currently in a case where my client was shot. She was shot in the head and went through her eye. And one of the issues that she had a hard time getting was counseling services to deal with what has happened to her, because she's not working anymore. Getting services for her children, because her children are not able to do the things that they could do with their mom before, so they need counseling. Getting any financial services that are available in the county, and even if we have to reach out to the state, for those victims, to let them know and understand that we are committed to supporting you when you need us.
Thank you, candidate Martin. And for our final question for you, formal question, before we go to the chat, how would you address racial inequality in the justice system and equity in sentencing?
I believe that goes back to discretion again, because if I have the discretion to determine what type of sentence a person is getting, then I also have the ability to determine how many people, based upon different factors, are in the criminal justice system and whether there's equity in the system. We currently know that that's not the case. The data itself say it so. And there's no reason to argue with the data, because the data is what it is. I'm a math.
We lost your sound. I lost your sound.
Yeah, I can't hear him either.
Candidate Martin. Can't hear you. We can't hear you. We lost the sound.
Okay, well, okay.
You're back. Okay, you're back now.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, you're back.
I apologize.
That's okay.
The answer to the question is, again, discretion, right? As a judge, I have the discretion to determine what sentence I'm going to give someone. And I want to make sure that I'm not just putting everyone in a one size fits all, and that I'm not continuing what's been going on in Douglas County, knowing that it's not right. I want to make sure when there's an opportunity that we're including and that we're having discussions with other judges, that we're having discussions with community leaders, that we're having discussions with those groups and individuals who want to make a change for the better. One thing we want to make sure that we're not doing, and that's just having a meeting or a panel to have a meeting or a panel. We want a solution that's going to be the best outcome for those involved, but more importantly, for the citizens of Douglas County. If that is a GED program, then that's what we need to get into place. If it's more mental health counseling or expanded mental health counseling, that's what we need to get into place. If it's more probation instead of jail time, whatever those programs are, we have to do something to try and fix the problem that we all know exists. And the problem that happens is that someone said this to me as I was handing out flyers just last week. They said, well, we're only going to see you one time. And from what we can tell in Douglas County, from what we have, is that it's more of the same. And I said, well, what is more of the same? She said, just people being locked up. The numbers are still the same, especially if you look like you and I. And I said, well, that's where the issue is at. You want someone that is committed and someone that will ensure that they're supposed to do what they tell you to do. And I said, you can always come into the courtroom. You can wave your hand at me and let me know that you're there just to say hello. You can come in. The courtroom is open to everyone for you to make sure as a citizen of Douglas County that as your Superior Court judge, I'm doing what I said I would do. And if I'm not, then guess what? You need to hold me accountable in the next election because I did not keep my word to you and that I was not committed to what I said I was going to do.
Awesome. Thank you so very much. We're going to ask everybody who's on the line, if you have any questions, please feel free to drop those in the chat. And thank you, Candidate Martin, for answering those questions. And at this time, I'm going to turn the program over to President Andre Brantley of TriMu, so he can either ask questions or deal with the chat or do it however he wants to do it. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Ms. Chandler. And thank you, Mr. Martin, for your time and your patience and attentiveness to our questions. So there are a few questions in the chat that I'm going to go through, but I want to ask a question right off before it slips my mind. You mentioned that you were a partner in education, correct?
Yes, sir. That's correct.
And I know oftentimes, we can look at our criminal rap sheet statistics and metrics, and it's oftentimes you can draw a beeline back to the education level. So how are you a partner in education? And how do you plan to extend that with schools, communities in Douglas County to ensure and just hear from what's taking place? I think we can mitigate a lot of different things as it relates to crime if we can address what's happening in our school system. So I'd just like to hear how would you plan to partner to show that we're not just trying to increase the pipeline to prisons with our students that are in school.
And part of it is doing what I'm currently doing, which is being active in the community. Part of being in the a partner in education is that I go around to the schools and we do a real men read, and we're having career day when they're at the first, second, third, fourth grade, whatever grade that is. As a Superior Court judge, I would like to expand it where individuals can come into the courtroom and see exactly what's going on. To make sure that they get a full understanding of what happens, regardless of whether it's good, it's bad, it's indifferent. Currently, as the supervising attorney over the Veterans Legal Clinic at Fort McPherson, students from the law school extern with me. They come into my office and we handle cases. And I always make sure that all of them are fully involved in the community. They go out with me when we go over to the schools, so that not only do they see me, they also may see a lady, right? Regardless whether that lady is Black or white or Hispanic, because some of our students, it's diverse that come through my office. So I want to make sure that when we go in, we're represented and that we're doing everything that we can to include them and for them to see that there's a different way of doing things. And I know we hear that, okay, well, based upon the third grade and what's going on with the child in the third grade, well, they're building prisons based upon that. So if that's the case, then as a Superior Court judge, and just as a resident of Douglas County, then I need to be active in my community to ensure that we don't have that issue. But if that issue does come before us, we have to be prepared to deal with it, knowing that possibly if we had done something before now, this person wouldn't be in my courtroom.
Great, great. Thank you for that comprehensive answer. So we have questions from the chat. So first question, has the governor ever appointed a Black male as a judge in Douglas County?
No, not that I know of. I can, and it's interesting that that question was asked because I did go for an interview. And one of the things was what separates me from some of the other candidates, where the candidates don't look like me. The candidates aren't representative of the demographics of Douglas County. And so the answer to that is no, there's not. And that's one of the reasons that I did decide to run as well, right? Because if I'm waiting to get an appointment and that appointment hasn't happened, and I've been in Douglas County for 25 years, right, then more than likely it's not. So it's time for me to get out in the streets like I normally am when I'm pushing for things that should be done right. And it's time for me to put my hat in the ring and let the community know that, no, there's someone here that represents you and that understands the issues that you're dealing with. And we're going to be committed to Douglas County, and we're going to ensure we're doing everything that we can to bring about change.
Great, great. Well, hopefully we'll change this history in Douglas County.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Next question. Are the victim services managed by the Superior Court judge or the prosecutor's office?
And that is interesting. So as a criminal defense attorney, 9 times out of 10, it is the prosecution's, it's part of what they do as the prosecutor office, but they're the one that has a victim advocate department. So technically they are the one that would try to get the services for the victim. However, I still believe as a judge, when I find out things and I know that this person needs these services, or these services aren't being given when the victims come into the court, and then it's my duty to make sure, if I have the discretion to get them those counseling services, to get them all of the things that they may need, if it's getting money out of the victims, because there is a victim fund, maybe it's speaking to that person to say, hey, maybe can we increase this? Can we make sure that each and every person has it? But yes, the answer to the question is, it is the prosecution that tends to deal with it. But I want to make sure that they know, as a judge, and if I have the discretion, I am willing to help you through your hard time with whatever I can do that's legal.
Okay, great. Next question. What are your thoughts on the recidivism rate in Douglas County? It's a 2-part question. And what do you think can be done about repeat felony offenders?
Well, you know, I think part of the issue is making sure that the person that needs it is getting assistance. So because I practice in Douglas, I've ran into that issue where sometimes my clients come back before the court. And when I'm in there dealing with those things, one of the issues that I have is if I'm saying my client is a repeat offender or has a problem, and the problem isn't the crime itself. For instance, let's say it's a theft crime and they have committed more than one theft. Well, the issue is, have we taken the time to talk to this person, to get this person counseling, to deal with the underlying issue of why it is that you are repeating the same thing that you were doing before? And 9 times out of 10, the answer is going to be, no, we're not getting you the help that you actually need. What we're doing is we're going to punish you. We're going to punish you. We're just going to get you out of Douglas County and get you out of the way, versus realizing that there's an underlying problem that we have to deal with. And that goes back to where you're talking about going out to be a partner in education, going to the schools and being active, so that later on we don't see those individuals inside the courtroom. If we just had gotten them counseling, talk to them, let them come in and follow us as far as what we do every day. But that's how you have to deal with that, because I do see that. And that is finding out, what is the reason why you're doing what you're doing? Let me get you counseling. Is it PTSD? Do you need mental health counseling? Is there a drug problem or a drug habit that you need drug counseling with? And so why don't I put you in a pre-diversion or in a pretrial intervention program to get you the help that you need? Because if you're repeating this, then that means something else is going on. And we're just putting a bandage on it versus finding out what the underlying problem is so we can address that problem.
Okay. All right. Thank you, sir.
Two's live Sports Zone NFL draft coverage is brought to you by
Somebody getting ready for the draft. Okay. Next question. So what I heard you mention about, nonviolent offenders, whether it's probation, parole, or bond, or what have you. What is your stance on second chances for violent offenders?
I think everything has to be done on a case-by-case basis. Depending upon what the charge is, then maybe we're making a decision again to get them counseling or putting them into pretrial diversion. But what I want to make sure that people understand, regardless of whether they is violent or non-violent as well, you can't just come to Douglas County. We're going to ensure that you're not just committing crimes. I own property as a Douglas County resident with my family. I have children as well. So we're going to ensure that those citizens of Douglas County are safe. No one should ever have to feel that because there are repeat offenders, that you can't go to the store and pump gas without someone jumping into your car or a weapon being pulled out on you or someone kicking in your door. So for those who have earned those things, and there's different criteria that we look at, right? Then yes, you can get another opportunity. But for those that think that they can just come into Douglas County and commit crimes just because, that's not going to work. That won't be tolerated.
Okay. All right, we have two more questions. So as we know, Metro Atlanta is growing, of course, and it spills right over into Douglas County. And how do we mitigate, growing crime problems? Are you partnering with Atlanta? What do you envision, if you're given the opportunity to sit in the Superior Court? So how do we mitigate or work with our neighboring counties and cities to mitigate crime coming to and expanding to Douglas County?
I think that's a great idea. We have to reach out to the other counties and see what's going on. But remember, we also have a sheriff. We also have a chief of police. And it's about us all. We have community leaders such as yourself, NAACP. There's all these different groups that we have in Douglas County where we need to come together and be able to have a plan and a solution to deal with those issues that may come. Trying to just stop crime in and of itself is not going to work. If people believe that crime isn't going to come to Douglas County, then that's not true either. So there's no need of us fooling each other that that's the case. But the goal is to do everything we can by building relationships, partnerships, putting in programs where people can get treatment so that we don't have to worry about dealing with those issues as much as some of our neighboring counties.
Okay, great. A few other questions have been added. So the next question is, does Douglas County have an African-American male? Does Douglas County have any African-American male judges? And why is it important that African-American males are given the opportunity to sit in the seat such as Superior Court judge?
To my knowledge, there's no African-American male judge. There are African-American female judges, of course. There's 3 here that I know of in Douglas, Judge. But as far as African-American males, the answer is no. Part of that is the fact that there's not one is not good in and of itself, because the demographics in Douglasville should ensure that there's other people that also can relate and look like you, that can be an example for all of those other males. Now, don't get me wrong, the fact that I am just a Black male in and of itself, it goes deeper. There has to be a commitment to certain things in your community, because just to have another male or another Black doesn't mean that things are going to get any better, right? We have to have someone that is willing to go out and be in the streets like I was. I've been in the streets. I was here in Douglas County when the Janala Wilson incident was going on. I was in the streets. I was in the streets in 2020 when we had the Black Lives Matter movement going on. So you want someone that's committed, that understands what's going on, and that doesn't mind putting their word on the line, and doesn't mind making sure that all of the citizens of Douglas County feel safe. They know they're being treated fairly. They're not looked down upon at any point in time when they come into Douglas County Superior Court room.
Excellent, excellent. Madam President Bates, those are all the formal questions. I don't see any additional questions in the chat, as well as my additional questions. I asked those as well. So we got those in. If there's not anything else, I'll yield and turn the floor back over to you, President Bates.
Wonderful, President Brantley. Thank you so much. And thank you, citizens, for being engaged with this process. You know, the Superior Court judge is going to serve you. Chances are you know someone already that has gone through the criminal justice system that's on paper. We have an opportunity to make a selection for someone who has the judicial mindset that is going to be beneficial to all of the citizens. Again, we don't have any, we are impartial. Let me say that. We are not telling you who to vote for. What we are saying is that it is your right to vote. People are making it hard for you to vote. Please, no matter what, cast your vote. And don't just cast your vote, make an informed decision. Ann Mathis shared with us at our general membership meeting this month what we should be considering when we are looking at a judicial candidate. And so we are going to make those available as well on our YouTube channel. We will make this forum available on our YouTube channel. And Attorney Martin, we are so grateful that you thought it not robbery to be here with us tonight so that the citizens can hear from you and to ask questions directly of you. We are grateful that you made time for this. Madam Vice President Chandler, thank you so much for everything that you do to ensure that the citizens of both Douglas and Paulding are educated and informed. And we appreciate you, media member Ann Mathis, for your selflessness and for your sacrifice. And to the citizens of Douglas County, please, please, please make it your business to go out and vote in the midterm election on May 24th. But I encourage you to do it before then. Early voting starts on May the 2nd. Your voice is your voice is counted by your vote. We're going to give Attorney Corey Martin an opportunity to have a closing remarks. And then President Brantley, if you would close us out, that would be wonderful.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I want to tell you about Corey Martin. I want to make sure that you understand why I believe that I'm the better candidate for the Douglas County Superior Court judge. I want you to know I've always been committed to Douglas County as a resident, and I will be even more committed as a Douglas County Superior Court judge. I am a public servant. It isn't about me. I am an entrepreneur. I've had my law firm for the last 13 years where I practice criminal and civil litigation. I am a match mentor where the school saw it fit for me to be able to have students paired with me from elementary through middle school, through high school, and even through college. About a year ago, I had one of my mentees that actually graduated from Georgia State, and we are still close to this day. I'm a partner in education. I volunteer for Real Men Read. I am a match mentor. I am a veteran, and I want to make sure that you understand that I know how to make adjustments and make things work. We believe that Douglas County needs someone that is committed to them, that's going to ensure that you're treated fairly, that you're not looked down upon, that your safety is a priority. I want you to vote for Corey Martin, because there's a reason why my slogan is count on Corey, because you can do just that. Count on Corey to treat you fairly, do what's right, and be there for you when you need me. I'm not beholden to any party. I'm not beholden to any group. I just want to do what's in the best interest of the Douglas County citizens according to the law and to make the changes. I am the man with a vision that you can count on. count on Corey and vote for Corey Martin, Douglas County Superior Court Judge. Thank you.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you, Attorney Martin, for that closing engagement. Thank you for your time this evening, and thank you for your commitment to Douglas County. Once again, thank you, President Bates, for allowing TriMu to partner with the NAACP of West Metro and the West Metro area. We are partners here this evening, but we look forward to partnering on different events that as it relates to the West area. And so thank you to all of your officers, your members. Thank you to my fraternity brothers. I see you all have logged in. I know we have other commitments and other meetings, so I do appreciate everyone's time this evening. We look forward to meeting everyone at the polls. Let's push for May 2nd. May 2nd begins early voting, and I think not only the local elections are important, but the midterms, I mean, it's vital, it's critical across the state of Georgia, and then as we look to the national election. So it's something that's near and dear to my heart. And so anytime that TriMu can be a partner, President Bates, let us know, and we'll avail ourselves to the best of our ability. Once again, thank everyone. Thank you, Attorney Martin. Thank you, Ms. Chandler. Thank you to the brothers of TriMu. And we look forward to working with you all again in the near future. Thank you.
Good night, everybody. Have a safe and wonderful evening. And we pray your safety and wisdom as you cast your ballot. Good night.
Good night. Thank you.